Hi y'all, Jeff here with Jeff's Cars, and welcome back to another kind of a statistical video. So, going to do things a little different in this video. As you see, I got my laptop here, and one of the suggestions that was made was that I show pictures of the car, whatever I'm talking about. And today's topic is the 10 worst cars in the U.S., let me rephrase, the 10 cars in the U.S. that have the worst depreciation over 3 years. Now, we're in the 2025 model year, but I really kind of went back to the 2021 model year. And this is based on 3 years and 13,500 miles of use. At what the Edmunds tool, the valuation tool is. And so I'm just going to kind of go through the list and what the value is of the car, of the vehicle, is after 3 years. Now, this is trade-in value. So you're buying at, close to MSRP brand new, or maybe even over MSRP, depending on what was taking place 3 years ago when we were coming out of COVID. But this is the percentage of the loss you're going to take. Now, something else to kind of remember, if you're financing this car, and a lot of these, you're going to finance for 6 years. In other words, in 3 years, if you put 5 or 10% down, and you've been paying on it for that period of time, this is kind of something to think about too, as to what you're going to have in value in trade-in, and how upside down you could be at the end of that 3 year period. So, without further ado, number 10 on the list, number 10 is the Volvo XC90. The percentage depreciation is about 40%, right at about 40%. So the value after 3 years, the car's worth about $33,540 roughly. Now, it's going to vary based on, the options that were on the car, how many additional options and what the car was new. But overall average of depreciation on that car is 40.11%. The next on the list is also a Volvo, the XC60. It's also going to be 40.5, 40.6% depreciation. So after 3 years, this car is going to be worth somewhere in the $27,500 range, $28,000 range. Again, this is the average of the average options. The next on the list, this happens to be an American car, Ford Edge. After 3 years, the car is worth right around $22,300 and has a 41.82% depreciation in 3 years. That's quite a bit of money, but keep in mind, and let me remind you, that if you bought it at retail and this is trade-in, that's what you're losing. So you probably need to, if you have a 3-year-old Edge, you better have paid more than, your loan balance better be less than the $22,319. Chances are it's not, but we'll move on. The next car on the list, the Genesis G90. After 3 years, it's worth probably somewhere around $37,400, $37,500, taking a hit of 42.03%. Well, that's on a car. We're in the SUV world, but you notice the 10, 9, and 8 were all SUV or crossovers. The next one, SUV or crossover. Where's my mouse? There we go. The Acura MDX. Now, 3 years old, if we were looking back from the 2024 model year to 2021. The MDX wasn't produced in 2021, so we're looking at a 2025 going, or a 2022. So we'd be looking because it's in the 2025 model year. But again, 3 years old, we would be close to that at that period. Car's worth $28,925 with a 42.3% depreciation. All right, next on the list, Hyundai Ionic 5. New this car was around $40,000. Value after 3 years is $23,800. So you're taking a depreciation of 42.86%. That's pretty aggressive. And again, when you're getting into that level, you better have put a lot of money down, because based on these numbers, your leasing companies, these are probably going to have high lease payments, more so, because obviously the banks know this, that, subsidize the leases. And so therefore, at the end of a 3-year lease, they know that residual is going to be at, roughly around $23,000 or $24,000. Next on the list is the the Ionic 6. New, the car's roughly around $37,000-ish. After 3 years, worth $21,000. Again, that's about a 42.86% depreciation. The next, large SUV, the Ford Expedition. New, and this is probably average equipped. New, they're around, a 3-year-old one was new, probably about $55,000. Today, you're looking at $70,000-ish for a new Ford Expedition. Again, it's going to be roughly, based on what options you have. I mean, you really can't get a stripped down Expedition, so to speak. I mean, an XL version, they're going to be XLT or better. So, excuse me, they're going to be optioned up. But a 3-year-old one, roughly worth $31,300. That's a depreciation of 43.04%. And it gets worse from there. The next one, it's an SUV as well. The Mazda CX90, new, $37,000, in the $37,000 range. 3 years old, is worth about $21,325. That's a 43.65%. Well, I guess that's what it is. But again, this is going to be based on 13,500 miles a year, times 3. And then, of course, it's normal wear and tear, basically. Now, if you've abused a vehicle, it's going to be worth less. If if it's got less miles on it, if you only put 4,000 or 5,000 miles a year on it, you're going to get a little bit more as a trade-in. But still, the average percent of depreciation is 43.65%. Last on the list, and this one doesn't surprise me, but it kind of does in a way, because they are a popular vehicle. The Lincoln Navigator. Now, I didn't see anywhere a GM product on any of this, but the Lincoln Navigator, new, of course, we know they're expensive. $85,000 new. 3 years old, trade-in, going to be somewhere around $44,000. You're taking nearly a 50% depreciation in this vehicle. So 47.08%. That's huge. So in other words, you better have more than 50% of the purchase price paid for when you go to trade that in, if you're going to own it 3 years, if you're going to be trading it in 3 years. And generally what I see is the 3-year-old ones of these, you're going to have 75 to 100,000 miles on it because people drive them, they use them to travel in, and they're going to be upside down. And you really, if you're financing that thing for 6 years, there's no way, unless you put over a third down, that you're going to get your money, that you're going to cover your balance on your loan at that in 3 years. So, folks, that's just kind of my rant on that. But I found this interesting because this came from the Edmunds evaluation tool on the internet, and these are the 10 cars in the United States that have the highest depreciation from brand new in 3 years. So would this be a good car to buy after it's depreciated with average miles? Might, because you can still finance that for probably at least 5 years, if not 6, on a 3-year-old one. But again, financing that long, you're paying a lot of interest at first, and then you start paying the principal after about 2.5 years. So just food for thought there for y'all. Appreciate you watching. You know, this was kind of a different way of doing this video. If you like it, you know, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit subscribe. We appreciate it. And then, you know, share this with your friends if the content is something you like. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.